What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. You already know who it is. Your host with the most, ShinKensou. You know what time it is. Pro fighting game player, pro Guilty Gear player, your favorite chip player, the only chip player you need to look at, the only Jacko you need to watch also. Anyway, all that foolishness aside, they released another developer's backyard for Guilty Gear Strive. About time. About time. I mean, literally. About time. So, I hear there's some pretty good news here. They released this last night, I believe. But yeah, there's some pretty good news here. I'm definitely interested. Hopefully you guys are interested. Let's take a look at this. Let's get a deep dive and see what's happening in this developer backyard. Already off rip, I remember them saying they are talking about Jacko and they kind of introduce her. I did kind of gloss over this. You can kind of gloss over this yourself. I will provide a link in the description for you guys to check this out. This kind of just goes over like Jacko, where she's from, etc., etc. A little bit backstory about her. They tell you if you want to learn more about her from the Revelator story, you can check it out on YouTube. They do mention that she is essentially a puppet character similar to Zato, but instead of, you know, there's an emphasis on moving with the puppet with Zato, as I mentioned here. Zato 1 is a puppet character, but it's placed on emphasis moving together with this puppet, whereas Jacko relies on controlling the battlefield. So yes, that is exactly what she does. I play her myself as a co-main to Chip. I will tell you for sure, controlling neutral is very important. They also mention here that she wears the master in battle, but you can fight without it by either holding down the taunt button or pressing the D and holding the D button after you went around. They mentioned at the end of this that a lot of people have asked for her to not have the mask outright, but they can't do it at the moment. So I'm a little sad as a Jacko main. It sucks, but it's kind of interesting because she doesn't really wear a mask in the story mode, so it's kind of like... But I guess they wanted to keep her in line with her previous design, which is her wearing the mask. I think it would have been cool for her not to wear the mask, like, whatsoever, honestly. But I guess it kind of works out because the goons, or the minions, still have, you know, they still wear that mask. So I guess it kind of like balances itself out in that regard. So that aside, moving on, the October game update. Now this right here is what we've been looking for. This here, this right here, this is what I've been waiting for quite some time, and a lot of people are waiting for this. It doesn't help that they had a showcase at Tokyo Game Show this past weekend, and there was no news on it. We saw body pillows and keychains and everything else, but not the patch. So here we are. We finally have an update for it, and they have the planned date to release it is October 15th, which is next Friday. Amazing, right? So let's read and see what we got here. So they announced it for October 15th. In the previous update, we adjusted the character balance without changing the overall game mechanics. We did not. This time, however, we will be adjusting the overall mechanics and the game rules in addition to character balance. Seems good. To begin with a partial discussion of the changes to game mechanics, we revised the qualities of Faultless Defense, extended overall input buffer time, and increased the time window for throw clashes. That means throw teching will be a bit easier for the defender. Thank goodness. Now hopefully they increase the range of Chip's throw, because for changes across characters, we have revised the startup time for their fastest normals, the way counters work for aerial normals, and increase the number of moves that can be cancelled into jump or air dash. I've been asking for this for so long. More jump cancels. It's gonna be a different game, you guys. It's gonna be a completely different game. Now, what they say here is the details for the changes made in this update. Patch will be released soon, so keep an eye out. So I'll probably get patch notes probably like next week, Tuesday, anywhere from Tuesday to like Thursday. We might get notes. That's really cool. Now they say, although this update will only adjust the balance, the team is working hard on the next character at the moment, so please wait for the next announcement. Okay, cool. I can wait. No problem. No problem. Now there's some non-battle in-game issues. Aside from changes to the battles, this update also reduces the time required to authenticate the online server. I swear, dude, like there's times where I can like turn the game on, go make a sandwich, eat the sandwich, make another sandwich, eat half of that sandwich, and the server still wouldn't have connected. Thank goodness they're fixing this. That's good. They say their tests in North America have confirmed that the update reduces connection time significantly, whatever that means. This update also includes fixes and improvements for other issues as well as new features. So this probably means digital figure mode, and maybe the combo recipe thing is coming, like the full-on combo thing that they had in mind for like sharing, you know, combos. And they say we will continue to strive to improve the game, and we appreciate your continued support. You already got my support. Just drop this damn patch. We plan to include improvements to the player mat system as requested by players in a later update. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. This I'm okay with. And they talk about Arc Revo and where you can sign up for it, rules and regulations, and then the soundtrack for Strive is available on Spotify. Pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So, also they have a thing for a mailer if you want to ask questions for them for the next one. So, I'm going to outright say this is good. This is like good news. This is really good news, right? So, yes, this is good news. This is actually really, really good news. So, let's talk about this very briefly. For anyone who's watched my streams and heard me talk about this game quite a bit here on YouTube, you know, the changes to jump cancels and things like that I've been saying have been like, it's been a change I think that the game's needed for quite some time. You know, like as a chip player, not having access to jump cancels where people will obviously burst is really bad. Like, you're not allowing players to bait burst without meter. And as a longtime Guilty Gear player, I feel like that's kind of just, dare I say, as a longtime player, that it kind of undermines all the skills in which that I've learned over the last years, you know? Like over the last years, you know, I've learned so much about the series and how to like bait people for doing these things. And as a chip player, it's a big part of your game. And not just chip, it's just every character in general, you know? Burst baiting is a big part of the game. And making burst so guaranteed in this version of the game, to me, it always just felt like, man, like, this really kind of sucks. You know, not having the ability to call people out properly without having a spend meter, I felt was just kind of like, okay, I get it, but what about characters who have a difficult time burst baiting? Where you have characters like Ram, May, you know, Steven Soul, and to some varying degrees Leo, who have pretty easy ways to bait your burst pretty handily, honestly. Especially Ram, where she doesn't even have to put herself at risk, right? So seeing them adjust jump cancels for pressure and most likely for the situation here for burst baiting, thank you. I couldn't say thank you enough, you know? And adding more air dash cancelable normals, I'm cool with that. You know, and I'm pretty sure they're probably just adding it to like punch normals. That's kind of how I see it, because not very many characters have a jump punch that's air dash cancelable. I think they should also change some of the Gatlings as well. So, but, you know, they said, you know, for a partial discussion, there's changes to the game mechanic, which means there's more game mechanics. Maybe the juggle systems are going to be a little bit different. Maybe the combo mechanics will be a little bit different. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But changing the quality of flawless defense, that sounds good. I'm hoping that they don't make it, you know, one of the biggest issues I have with flawless defense is that when you FD moves, it takes away too much of the FD. It takes too much of your tension away when people make contact with you. So I wasn't a big fan of that. Like, because there's some cases where like you kind of want to FD someone first and see if you need to YRC. And, you know, if like a far slash is taking like a good chunk of your tension gauge away, that means you can't use you can't visually see things and then try to use YRC to defend yourself. So them opening up this to whatever capacity sounds good to me. The overall input buffer time being extended, I'm a bit curious about this, honestly, but if I had to guess, this might be for reversals. That's my guess. Could be wrong, not sure. But who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? And yeah, also just to add to the thing on jump cancels really quickly, you know, this will also, if they open up the jump cancels for more normals, this does make it a bit easier for people to take straight hits and turn into something. That is another important thing to note. Throw breaks having a bigger window, I can't be any more happier for that, because right now throws are really strong, and you made it really difficult for players to try to escape. You know, yeah, fuzzy jumping, dealing with strike throw with backdashes and all that stuff is good, but some people just want to break the throw. You know, especially if you can see it. You know, if you're allowing players to have a way to break the throw consistently, that works. I know on some fronts, some people may look at it like, oh, now my throws aren't guaranteed. No, it just means there's a chance for people to see the throw happen and break the throw on reaction. Because right now, the throw break window isn't very large. You know, and Guilty Gear for the longest time has always had 2-frame window throw breaks. So like, it's either you get it or you don't. You know, that's why throws have always been so potent in Guilty Gear. So with the introduction of a throw button, it only makes sense to make the throw break window a lot larger so that people can actually see themselves get thrown and then break on reaction. I'm not saying the throw break window needs to be 900 frames, so when the throw animation starts up and you see it the first like 10 frames and you're like, all right, I'm out of there. Nah, like, you know, something where it's visible. Because take for example Street Fighter 3's throw break system, I believe was like a 3-frame window or somewhere in that, something in that ballpark. A Street Fighter 4's 3-frame window, I want to say, and people would late tech very well. You know, so I feel like having something where you can late tech, because I personally prefer late teching anyway. So, you know, that just helps players out, you know, and there's no telling what else they're going to do. You know, and this thing about increasing or revising the startup time for people's fastest normals, that means that they've probably seen that players have been getting counter hit way more often than they should, which I think is a good thing that they've taken note of that. So now you can actually have quicker normals to help you poke out of pressure and not just use faultless defense, because I do believe characters with the 6-frame normals and 7-frame normals to try to poke out is very difficult. You know, so I think this is good. So you have a way to poke out. I'm not sure what else is going to happen. You know, they say, you know, there's some more system changes coming, so we'll see. You know, frame data changing, system changing, jump cancels changing, like throw breaks, like this is good. This is all good news. This is all good news as far as I'm concerned. So with that being said, October 15th, that is next Friday, as of today. So look forward to that. I know I am. Let me know how you guys feel about this in the comments below. Talk to me. How do you feel about this? Happy? Sad? Both? Talk to me. Let me know in the comments below. With that being said, I'm going to get up out of here and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.